But we start in New Jersey, where the Hudson River Derby was attracting attention far beyond American shores. The Pilgrim Pub in London representing the growing profile of MLS worldwide, as fans both red and blue were there to see the latest chapter of the Red Bulls NYCFC rivalry.
An easy win. That's all it's going to be. It'll be a stroll in the park.
They were joined by a familiar face, former New York City FC midfielder Frank Lampard.
Excited for the game. Obviously played in it a few times, and you could feel it in the city at the time. In the week before Derby, people were coming up and talking about it in the street. You can feel the extra edge, the extra hostility in the crowd, which is a great thing.
Could Lampard see his old team winning at Red Bull Arena for the very first time?
For New York to win the game, they have to move the ball very quickly and try and not get sort of sat back and get caught in their own half and try and get up the pitch. If they do that, I think they've got the quality going forward to win the game.
Everybody was all lubed up and ready for the action from across the Atlantic. Clive Allen and Dan Roebuck had the call.
David Villa through here, an opportunity maybe for Wallace to try and knock it back for Harrison. Can he curl? He can! Terrific stop by Robles.
Great move from City, the way that they sweep forward. Fine play from City. Good save in the end from Robles.
And it comes and the header flashes wide. They seem to get just half a yard on his man.
Good movement from Royer. Just a poor direction on the header.
Will take it down away from his opposite number, Felipe, and that's a good ball out to Wallace on the left-hand side. Harrison calling for it, so is David Villa. He's still Wallace with a shimmy and a shuffle. Sweat will get the ball in. Harrison, first time! Brilliant goal! NYCFC strike first. New York Red Bulls 0, New York City FC 1.
What a finish that is. Left-footed, he has to be inch perfect.
Ring.
Well done in a game that's been highly competitive, really intensive. It's been a moment of real quality that's given New York the lead.
And are we going to get even more here from Herrera? Terrific save, Robles pushes that away.
The strike is just too near the keeper. Patrick Vieira knows what a glorious chance that was.
Now it's with Sweat on this near side. Wallace joining in. Seems to have combined very well. Sweat with a curl ball in. Flicks up towards Harrison. RJ Allen. Herrera takes it on his chest. Oh, it's a good save from Robles in the end because he must have seen that late. Danger not over. McNamara with a flick. David Villa. And still.
That was a well-judged save from Robles.
Then comes the free kick into this near side. And the header will loop in! Sweat in the right place at the right time. I'm not quite sure if he meant it, you know.
I agree with you there, Dan. I think there's a question mark as whether he meant to head that back into the far corner. But I tell you what, whether he did or he didn't, it's in the back of the net. And it's a second vital goal for New York City.
Patrick Vieira will celebrate full time here at Red Bull Arena. New York Red Bulls 0, New York City FC 2.
What was really pleasant today is that I saw a team who competed at a higher level, players who really wanted to win the game, and we showed a lot of character and we showed some quality as well, because at time I think we played quite really well. So to take these 3 points, we needed everybody to be at the best, and today they were at the best.
At the end of the day, put like football, everything out of it. If I beat you up 7 times in a row or whatever it is, the next time you come, you're gonna hit me with a brick. You know what I mean? So it's just how it goes. Next time we play them, we've got to be ready.
Greg Vanney's Eastern Conference leading Toronto FC were unbeaten at home ahead of their meeting with Jay Heaps' New England Revolution, who themselves were looking for their first road win of 2017. And things didn't start well for the Rebs, who fell behind after 11 minutes. Drew Moore touching home his first Toronto goal in 10 months. A Sebastian Giovinco free kick often results in a goal to celebrate, but Rebs captain Lee Wynn preempted the danger in the 57th minute with this header off the line. Teal Bunbury's last MLS goal for New England was against Toronto last season. Alex Bono ensured the Canadian-born substitute didn't repeat the feat here. Instead, with the Rebs committing players forward, TFC launched a Route 1 counterattack in the 6th minute of added time. It was left to Giovinco to prove that he's not just a set-piece expert. A 7th MLS goal of the season for the Italian and a 7th win in 9 matches for Toronto in front of their home fans. This was Orlando City's 4th game in 11 days, and a trip to a red-hot Chicago Fire was the last thing that they needed. The Fire had won 6 consecutive home games before this and got off to a perfect start. David Accam applying a delicate finish to Matt Polster's cross after just 123 seconds. And it was still as easy as 1-2-3 for the Fire just 5 minutes later. A long ball from Bastian Schweinsteiger picked out Accam, who took his time to pick his spot. Nemanja Nikolic might have been getting more attention this season, but Accam is showing that he can finish too. When Nikolic did get on the score sheet 7 minutes into the second half, it was only with the help of Accam, the Ghanaian finding the perfectly angled pass for the Hungarian to run in and score his 14th of the season. The game was beyond a tired-looking Orlando, and the only question that remained was whether Accam would get his first career hat-trick in his 174th professional game. His chance arrived in the 62nd minute when he was taken down by the midweek goal-scoring hero, Scott Suter. Accam took a breath, finished superbly, and celebrated 3 goals and an assist, and a magnificent 7 home wins in a row for Chicago. Justin Meram scored a hat-trick when Columbus Crew SC won a pulsating game in Montreal 6 weeks ago. But it was the man of the moment, Federico Higuain, who took center stage here as Crew SC took a 17th-minute lead at home against the Impact. 2 minutes was all it took for Montreal to respond. Anthony Jackson-Hamel, who scored in that aforementioned home loss, on target again to equalize thanks to his 5th goal of the season. Impact defender Vandril Lefebvre hadn't scored since September 2015, and just before the hour mark went close to ending that wait. Zach Steffen was on point to deny him and clean up the rebound. Crew SC coach Greg Berhalter then threw on former Vancouver forward Kekuta Mane, who, within a minute of entering the action, punished Montreal for some woeful defending. Mane's first goal for Columbus was also his first in MLS in exactly a year. His impact proved even greater 2 minutes later, Mane crossing for Ola Kamara to volley Crew SC into a 3-1 lead. Kamara with his 9th league goal of the season. Having gotten the ball rolling in the first half, it was left to Higuain to tie up the victory with his 5th goal in his last 4 MLS games. In the end, a comfortable win for Columbus. After recovering from their dreadful start to the season, the Philadelphia Union had lost 3 in a row prior to the visit of a DC United team fresh off a victory over Atlanta last week. Now, there'd be much drama to follow, but the game was settled by a fantastic finish in the 31st minute, the 4th goal of the season for Fafa Pico from Alejandro Bedoya's cross. The Union had goalkeeper Andre Blake to thank for the victory, though. First, Oguchi Onyewu blocked Taylor Kemp's deflected cross with an arm, and the referee pointed to the spot. Lamar Nagel stepped up to try to score his 2nd PK of the season, but Blake threw himself to his right to claw it away. He's not the reigning MLS goalkeeper of the year for nothing. With 17 minutes remaining, a moment that was initially confusing, yet ultimately encouraging. Luciano Acosta was ruled to have kicked out at Haris Medunjanin and shown a straight red card. The referee then rescinded the red and revealed after the game that Medunjanin had told him there was no kick. A moment of sportsmanship from the Union midfielder and common sense from the referee. Blake was called into action once more as DC United's 11 men pressed for an equalizer. Acosta denied an assist by a gravity-defying save from Blake. Lots to talk about. 1 goal and a Union win. For the first time since March, Atlanta named popular striker Joseph Martinez to the starting lineup for their sellout game at home against Colorado. The Rapids, who'd yet to win on the road this season, went close to opening the scoring through Dylan Serna. But it was Atlanta's Martinez who posed the main threat throughout. a combination of goalkeeper Tim Howard and Michael Azira keeping the Venezuelan at bay. A few minutes later, Martinez mixed it up in front of goal, opting for the acrobatic. Yet still, Howard was alert to the danger. But midway through the second half, the movement of Martinez and his control when in possession of the ball was too much for Howard and company to handle. A brilliant finish to give him his 7th goal in 7 games and a 4th straight win at home for Atlanta. It's one of the biggest and most bitter rivalries in American soccer, and there's no love lost between the Portland Timbers and the Seattle Sounders. Portland may have been 5 places ahead of Seattle going into this clash. But it was the Sounders who had the bragging rights when they met a month ago.
Christian rolled on, puts him up against the Timbers.
Could the Timbers make home field advantage count at Providence Park? Watching this one, Dave Farrar.
Here's Valeri. Addy's made a forward run, and so too has Chara. Oh, it's in for Addy! And it's a good save by Fry. Fernando Addy, so close. Here's Jones. Jovin Jones with a chance to cut inside, saved by Gleason, and Jones again! And the king of the assists grabs a crucial goal for Seattle. Jovin Jones. Gleason might have done better with the first, could do nothing about the second. There's Asprilla. Now Nagby. Trying to work their way back into this. It's Asprilla! Fry was beaten. Just couldn't keep it down. Wide again for Asprilla. Taking his time, and then, oh, Torres has slipped. This is Nagby. He goes down, and Ricardo Salazar gives the penalty. And they want a red card as well for Evans, who made that lunging challenge. And Seattle are down to 10. Torres created the problem. Evans reacted to it. Fernando Addy for goal number 50 in MLS. And Portland Timbers are level. The world's against Schmetzer right now. Swung in towards Asprilla. They strike twice right at the end of the first half. And the Timbers turn it round. Great header, Asprilla. He got so high and so much power. Here's Dempsey, the substitute, trying to make an impact. Oh, he's seen Gleason off his line. Big smile. Not a bad effort from Dempsey. Time starting to run out. This is Torres on the right wing. Floats it in for Dempsey. Unbelievable, he does it again against Portland. 9 in 9 against the big rivals. Few more crucial than that. Late equaliser.
Feels like a loss. Very disappointing. Didn't think we managed the second half well. There's a pattern of this, I would say, mix of complacency with a few guys and mix of fear with a few guys. And we got to change it.
Fans of the LA Galaxy had only seen their team win once at home in 7 MLS games at StubHub Center this season. Against Peter Vermees's Western Conference leading Sporting Kansas City, they fell behind to what can only be described as an awful error of judgment by their goalkeeper, Raymond Diop. SKC's Roger Espinoza benefiting from Diop's wrong choice of defense. In the 35th minute, the decision to come off his line also cost Diop, as Eichel Para delivered another knockout blow to the Galaxy. In fairness to Diop, his defenders didn't help his cause on this one. With 13 minutes to go, the home team gave themselves hope, albeit despite the best efforts of SKC keeper Tim Melia, who couldn't stop Dave Romney's header from crossing the goal line. Seeking a late equalizer, the Galaxy found themselves stretched at the back. They were almost punished by Gerso Fernandez. Nevertheless, Sporting KC had done enough to record their first win in LA in almost 7 years. After a rare victory last week, Real Salt Lake went to San Jose, hoping to build on that and move away from the lower reaches of the Western Conference standings. They came up against an inspired Marco Urena, though, the Costa Rican bursting through early and unlucky not to score. It didn't take long for the Earthquakes to grab the lead. Danny Hoesen has been less than prolific since moving from the Dutch First Division, but his perseverance paid off for his second goal of the season. RSL came into things in the second half, and 7 minutes in, one of those what-if moments. The result could have been very different if Joao Plata's clever free kick had sneaked in, and that was a turning point. San Jose made sure when Urena chased a long ball, finished wonderfully from an acute angle to beat Nick Raimondo, only his second goal of the season. With 19 minutes remaining, San Jose made their task a little bit harder when Nick Lima flew into a challenge on Chris Wingert, and the referee, Fotis Bazakos, understandably showed him a second yellow card. He may have tried to pull out of the tackle, but it was too late. The 10 men of San Jose held on until the 94th minute, when Jose Hernandez darted in to score a neat consolation for Real Salt Lake. The post-match news, though, was dominated by the departure of San Jose coach Dominic Kinnear, relieved of his duties along with his assistant John Spencer. A first-ever meeting between Minnesota United and Vancouver didn't start well for the home team, who gifted the Whitecaps a chance to open the scoring after a little over a quarter of an hour. Breck Shea taken down rather unceremoniously by Minnesota goalkeeper Bobby Shuttleworth. Christian Teixeira gave Shuttleworth no chance from the resulting penalty as Vancouver went in front. Kevin Molino's last 2 MLS goals came against the Whitecaps' Canadian rivals, Toronto. But here, he blew a golden chance to equalize. The miss proved costly. In the second minute of first-half stoppage time, Tony Tchani powered Vancouver into a 2-goal lead. Though almost from the start of the second half, Minnesota mounted a comeback. Molino provided the cross. Francisco Calvo the finish. The Costa Ricans' first MLS goal. In the 63rd minute, Minnesota was celebrating another first. This time for Jerome Tisson, who stroked one home to draw the Loons level. As the game moved into its closing stages, the 2 goalkeepers came up big. First, Shuttleworth with a huge save on Vancouver substitute Bernie Avini. And then David Osted, who instinctively stopped Molino from completing the Minnesota comeback. 2-2, the final score. The final installment of Rivalry Week comes from Texas, where the Houston Dynamo have been flying this season at BBVA Compass Stadium. No team had won more home games or scored more home goals going into their clash with FC Dallas. The visitors had taken their foot off the gas lately, but with Maxi Urruti finding his goal-scoring form and the return of Mauro Diaz, who was set for his first start of the season, there was reason to believe a derby victory could be in the cards. Commentary comes from Mike Sewell.
Machado gives the ball away, and it's immediately played forward towards Tesho Akindele down that far side. Urruti's in the middle. Here is Maxi Urruti, who goes it alone. Blocked initially, and Barrios can't follow up either. Good play by Akindele. Urruti could have teed up Barrios initially, but Dylan Remick blocked both shots to the frustration of Oscar Pereira. Garcia. More towards Kyoto. It's Kubo Torres. Support on the outside from Mauro Manotas. Squeezes it just beyond the far post. Just pulled his shot slightly. Played forward. Cut out straight away by Machado, who launches it upfield. Torres up against Hedges. Still with Torres, who punishes the Dallas defence and gives Houston the lead. Kubo Torres with his 11th MLS goal of the season. Clean finish, 1-0 Houston. And out comes the robot celebration. Garcia with the free kick, delivers it in. And that should have been, at the very least, on target from Juan Cabezas. To Figueroa, and then up to Diaz. But Barrios running around the outside, he squares it to Urruti. Not much room for Maxi Urruti, but it won't matter. He still finds the far corner to equalise for FC Dallas. It was the ball from Diaz to Barrios, who was just onside, but it didn't look like Urruti had a chance. He made the most of it through the legs of two defenders to make it 1-1. Just like the reverse fixture in Dallas, this one ends in a stalemate.
Today wasn't the day for us to put the ball in the net, sadly, but the mentality was good, and we finished the game pushing and trying to look for the goal.
It was maybe a good representation of the form and the moment that Dallas and Houston have, and so we walk out with a point. We take it. We'll keep aiming for those 3 points that we are missing right now.
That result allows Sporting Kansas City to extend their lead at the top of the Western Conference standings to 5 points, while this weekend's other winners in the West, the San Jose Earthquakes, move into the top 6. The Colorado Rapids' disappointing campaign continues. With the top 3 in the East all winning, there's now a 4-point gap between them and the rest, while Atlanta United move into the top 6 at the expense of the New York Red Bulls. Montreal replace Philadelphia at the bottom. We leave you with scenes from a Derby day enjoyed across the globe, particularly by those wearing blue.
First-time shot. Jack Harrison with the finish.
I'm Russ Thaler, and I'll see you next week.
Ben Sweat's first MLS goal. What a time for it in the Derby.
This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.